In the truck this morning, and I am heading out to my Seadoo dealership, which is Uxbridge Motorsports Marine. I think they've been my dealer for, I don't know, about 4 years, a little over 4 years now, something like that. I bought, this will be my second Seadoo buying from them. I've been riding Seadoo since 2018, and this is now going to be my third Seadoo. I've had a 2018, a 2022, and now we're about to pick up a 2024 GTX 300 Limited. They're about 40 minutes from where I live, and I know that some of you have bought Seadoos there as well through my recommendation from dealing with that particular dealership, so good for you guys. Hope your experience has been as good as mine there as well. So I should be there in about 40 minutes. I'll meet Doug there, and we're going to pick up a new 2024, new to me, 2024 Seadoo 300 GTX Limited. Okay, we have arrived at Uxbridge Motorsports Marine. Let's head on in and see if we can find Doug and take a look at this new machine. I think it's that one right down there. They've got it parked right down there. At least that's where the one was last year when I showed up here. So let's see if that's the one. We'll come on into the dealership here. They've redone this dealership over the last couple of years, so it really looks nice inside here now. They've got a big array of products, all these side-by-sides, which are new machines. There's a couple of Seadoos still over there, and then, of course, all the Seadoo stuff that's still out here. So, yeah, it's looking pretty good inside the dealership right now, and I think Doug's just dealing with somebody at the counter there. We'll take a chat with him, have a chat with him in just a couple of minutes. Look at the color on this one. Beautiful purple. One of the Sparks over there. And then here's the new 300. So it's not actually a 300, it's a 325. These are the 2025s. They come with this bigger screen now. So the screen has gotten quite a bit bigger on it. By 3-4 inches, something like that. And it's a 325 now instead of a 300. I barely use the horsepower that I get with the 300, so a 325 is definitely not something that I require. Nice looking color on that though. This is I think it's a teal kind of color. This Seadoo dealership comes with its own dogs. There's 2 dogs. This is one. Hey, how are you, buddy? How are you? All right, there's Doug. How you doing, Doug?
Hey, Bob.
Good morning. Good morning. Let's head out and have a look at this thing. The last time I was here was 2022. That was just post-COVID. And everybody was having trouble getting their machines back in those days. There were all kinds of delays, supply chain issues, train issues. There were machines showing up at dealerships and missing parts, electronics particularly. But then they showed up, and here we are. I called you, about 3 weeks ago and said, I need a machine.
Yes.
Boom, we got one. Things are a little different now.
Yes.
So this is the 2024.
Yep.
GTX. So what was the story on this? You just had this one around from last year? It didn't sell last year? Or?
It was, we had a couple carryovers on units, and that was one, and you're getting a great price, Bob.
All right, let's have a look at this. This is, I've had them put the sponsons on. There they are there. Those are sponsons that I bought from Revo Racing. Just pull off a corner of it. It's starting to rain a little bit, so we won't take it all off. I just wanted to give you a little shot of the color. The first 2 machines that I had have all been silver and kind of black. And this one is the first one that's really got some color, and it's a beautiful blue. I really like this blue. That's nice. So this one's going to have the smaller screen though, right, Doug? It's not going to have that big screen that the 2025s have.
Yeah. If you come out with me, you can, I can let you take mine.
I could try out yours.
And then we could upgrade you next year.
You know what I'm doing this time, though, is I'm going to buy from the guys here at Uxbridge Motorsports, I'm going to buy the Garmin that comes on the Fish Pro Apex. Now, that's a bigger screen on that Garmin. They've got the Garmin in for me, but we had a problem with the attachments, right? The attachments to put it in the mirror.
Right.
So
we're waiting parts. It's something that's not even in our price books yet.
Yeah.
So you're going to be like the first guy in Canada to have one.
It's going to be unique. It's got a nice big screen, and that's what I use a lot, is that Garmin unit for navigating, finding my way around, or Navionics on my cell phone. But I don't use the main screen so much, so I'm not really going to miss that big screen. But to have the Garmin unit will be kind of nice. So here it is. Here's a quick look, folks, at the GTX 2024 300 Limited. And just as we do that, the bloody rain is starting to pour down on us. So don't take it any more off. That'll be good enough.
Yeah.
There's a shot of it. Well, that deal is done. And of course, wouldn't you know it, just as we're picking it up, the rain starts. It didn't rain all morning, or it just sprinkled a little bit. And now we got rain. So it's probably going to get all wet and dirty by the time I get it home, which is, I was hoping to kind of avoid that, because I was going to put it right into the garage. I've got a bunch of things that I want to add to that Seadoo. So the roads are getting a little wet. We'll see if we can get home before it gets too wet out there, and we'll see if we can kind of beat it a little bit. But here we go. New season, brand new machine, 2024 Seadoo GTX 300 Limited. Well, I figured I might as well just fuel up before I bring it home. Make sure it's all topped up with fuel so that I can have it ready to go when I want to go. Put that in there. This machine holds 70 liters. I don't imagine there's much fuel in it. It's probably pretty much empty from the dealership. So let's top it up so when I want to head out the next time, I'm all ready to go. She is all hooked up behind the truck, and I'm ready to put it in the water for the very first time and begin that 5-hour break-in period on the Seadoo. Just thought I'd give you a little better look at it in the sunlight now. This is the first good look. I really like this, this deep blue color. I like it better than the brand new 325 teal color. I've just always really kind of liked this blue, and the light colored seats are nice. Kind of a blue, silver, and black motif to this this Seadoo. The past ones I've always had were either silver or kind of a two-tone black. This one is the first one with some real color in it, and I think it looks pretty sharp. So I've added a couple of things. I've added my Riva sponsons. I've got those in the middle setting. I've had them on the last Seadoo. I really like those and how they perform, so I've added those back on. Took the stock sponsons off from Seadoo, put those back on. What else have I done? Put a couple of decals on it, Canadian flags. This platform I've added. This is a platform I bought a number of years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago now, out of Florida. Can't quite remember the name of the company, but I ordered it from Florida. It was sent up. It just allows you to have an extra links hookup. So there's one here, and then there's another one here, and this platform just bolts down onto the top with some spacers underneath. So it's a very simple thing to put on. Can't remember the name of the company that sold it though, but it allows me to have one extra link product, and then of course I can also stack link products on top of that. But Seadoo since this time has now come out with their own extended platform, and they have something that that works as well for that, to give you more link products. What else have I done? I've added some camera mounts. Oddly enough, you know what I did? The very first thing when I bought the Seadoo, I drilled 2 holes into it. There's something wrong about drilling holes in a boat or a watercraft, but that's what I did for this ram mount bracket here. So I actually have an X, kind of an X grip on here that I can substitute for this one, which is a quad lock system that I use for my remote for the drone. But then I have the X system I can put on there. It's just something that holds my cell phone in there as well. And then I've run a power cable from the USB, and I can plug that in there. And that's just bolted right onto that. I used a little bit of silicone to make sure that those holes were sealed. The other thing I've done is I tie 2 pieces of rope, put them in here, and this rope allows me to hook on my tie-up ropes. When I'm tying up to a dock or something like that, I just clip them in here, because it's very hard to clip onto this bar. So I just have a rope in there, clip onto that, and then I can tie up to the dock. A few more camera mounts up front on the mirrors. I'm going to test this thing out. I think it's a little bit insecure. I don't think that's going to work very well, but we'll test that out and see how that works. And then the other thing I wanted to test out was some of these pontoon things. They're just attached to suction cups, and then I just put the suction cups onto the side of the Seadoo, get them wet, stick them on the Seadoo just like that, and then they kind of just hang over the side. I'm not a really big fan of those Seadoo ones that they have that have the mounts here. I've had those before, and then the things that stick over, I don't know, they seem to pop off on me all the time. So this is not the best either, but I'm just going to try that out a little bit today and see how it works. So yeah, there it is, the 2024 GTX 300 Limited. I think it's time we got it in the water. Let's take it up to Lake Simcoe, which is about an hour north of me, maybe a little bit more. A little town there called Beaverton. That's where we're going to head to today. Put the thing in the water. It's just got to go through its break-in period for 5 hours. We'll talk a bit about that when we're on the water, but let's head up and get it in the water. I'm kind of anxious to see how she runs. You know, it's that first time out on the water of the year, other than that little test I did on my past Seadoo before I got this one, but I just kind of have a feeling I've forgotten something. I don't know what. There's a fair amount of camera gear and stuff like that. I kind of went over things last night, got it all together as best I could, but I just had this feeling I've forgotten something. I know I've got the life jacket because I did double check on that. I have done that before and forgotten the life jacket, but that's in the back of the truck. So just on the 400 series highway heading out of Toronto, heading north, it's about an hour or something like that to get up to where I'm going to at Beaverton on Lake Simcoe. So once we get up there, we'll get the machine in the water. Okay, I have made it to Beaverton and the launch. And you know how I said on the way up here that I hope I hadn't forgotten anything? I just realized pulling in here that I forgot my wallet. I do not have my wallet with me. So if there's a charge for this launch fee today, I'm going to be in big trouble. That's the office right over there. They may not be quite open yet because the season is just starting. Maybe they're starting in June or something like that, but I don't have the 20 bucks. I think it's 20 bucks. Yeah, $20 to launch. Let me just see if there's anybody here. No, it's locked. How lucky is that? I'm going to get away with it today. Going to be able to put in for free. Good thing, because I don't have the wallet. I would not be able to pay unless I could talk my way through it with them just to say, look, I'm here all the time. Just let me launch for free today. But I just discovered that as I was pulling in the parking lot. I thought, where's my wallet? I didn't bring it. Whew. Okay, everything made it up here okay. Let me get some stuff loaded up from the truck. Some camera gear, I think I'll put that on right here. I've got the life jacket. I think I'll bring a jacket, long pair of pants, because it's going to be colder out there in the water. Got a lot of stuff put in here now. I keep everything in that tote bag. So let me get a few things loaded up here and some cameras on the Seadoo, and we'll be ready to go. Okay, I've got both straps off the back. The drain plugs, 1 and 2, they're in and they're tight. I think it's ready to go in the water. Let me have a quick look at the launch here just to make sure it's good. I think the water level's pretty high right now. I was actually up here on a motorbike trip, I don't know, 10 days ago or so, and had a look. Yeah, it's about the same. Water's pretty high. Looks slippery and slimy on the ramp, so I'll have to be careful I don't slip, but I don't have to back in all that far to get the Seadoo off the trailer. So let's do it. Let's put it in the water the very first time ever for this Seadoo, and we'll see how she runs. Let's see if it'll start. So far, so good. Let's get away from the dock a little bit. Well, that's it. That's kind of a nice sound. The very first time on the 2024 Seadoo GTX 300 Limited. Started just beautifully, and it sounds real nice. I do have the life jacket with me. It's just sitting on the seat behind me. I haven't forgotten that. Just take a little cruise up in here to the marina, have a look while we're here before we head out onto the big lake. Let the engine warm up a bit. I can feel the tightness in the steering. It just feels really snug. Hasn't kind of loosened up a little bit yet. You know, it is the end of May, maybe a little bit later by the time you guys are seeing this, but yeah, most of the boats from all of the marinas are in the water. You can get fuel here, by the way. There's, oh, it says closed for now. It's probably not open for the season yet, but that does open up later on in the season. Fair amount of scum in the water through here. This machine, of course, does come with the internal debris-free, the IDF, which is a system on Seadoos that came out about 2-3 years ago, where you can reverse the impeller and suck water back through the housing. So if you've got debris stuck in there, you can maybe flush it back out with this internal debris-free system. I know they had some problems with it when they first introduced it, but I think they've got those problems worked out now. Personally, I've never really had to use it. I've not engaged it once. And in the 6 or 7 years that I've been using a Seadoo, I've had weeds a couple of times clog up into the Seadoo on some of the older models that I had before there was internal debris free, but I was able to just get the shore, pull it out a little bit, swim underneath it, just get my hand up into the grate and start yanking out all the weeds and stuff that had jammed in there. And that did the trick as well. But the internal debris free is supposed to allow you to be able to do all of that right from on the Seadoo, but I have yet to really test it. All right, let's give it a shot. So in terms of the break-in period on a Seadoo, it takes about 5 hours to do the break-in, and what you're supposed to do is not run it at full throttle, basically. You can run it at about a half throttle, maybe up to 3/4 throttle, vary the speed up and down, but don't be running it at full throttle for the first 5 hours or so. There's actually some sort of limiter within the engine that will control the top-end speed of the Seadoo for the first 3 hours. So that's there to kind of limit the speed of the machine, and then after about 3 hours, that sort of comes off, I guess, and then the speed will allow you to open up a little bit more, or the Seadoo will allow you to open up a little bit more speed-wise. So it's about a 5-hour break-in period. I've done this, this is the third time now, so just want to kind of get a few hours on the machine before I head out riding with a group where they're all taking off and expecting me to keep up, and that might mean full speed. So I'd like to have a number of hours on it first, just on my own. Oh, there's a stick right in the water right there, floating right there. Oh. So I'll do that today. I'll probably get maybe 3 hours, maybe 3.5 hours on the machine today, and then we'll go from there. Well, the phone is linked to the Seadoo, so we have music if we want it off Spotify. There you go, that part's linked. What I am not seeing though is a power connection. I've got it plugged in. When I jiggle the wire a bit, I seem to have a connection, at least sometimes. No, not now. Something's wrong with that cable, I think. The cable is not supplying power to the phone, and I will need to get that fixed. I'll have to test another cable on there. It seemed to work at home for a bit, but maybe the way it's connected, I'm not sure. It's plugged into the USB properly. In here. That's in. Yeah, must be something wrong with that cable. I've had problems with those cables in the past. What you have to be careful of is that when you close the hatch, that this cable, of course, doesn't get inside, and you slam the hatch and slam it on the cable. That'll fix the cable right there. But I haven't done that this year, so unless I did that last year somewhere and I've forgotten. Anyway, I'll check that out at home to make sure I can get a power supply to my phone. But we do have music. Better not play too much of that or YouTube will give me a copyright warning. So today is going to be just kind of like a bit of a checkout ride. Going to look at the systems on the Seadoo, play around with the dashboard display, find the settings, familiarize myself again with those settings, check out a few camera settings here and there. I brought along my new Insta360 X5. Maybe I'll try to get a few shots with that. Just see how everything is kind of working. It's just kind of a checkout ride today to put a few hours on the Seadoo and test out some camera gear. I want to put a camera up on there to see if that's strong enough or it's going to shake too much. I already can tell that's going to shake way too much. I put a couple of plastic inserts in here just as kind of buffers to kind of tighten that up a little bit, but I can see that's not really going to work very well. I've got a different kind of stand I can put in there, and maybe I'll try that as well just to see if it holds a little better. You got to have some rigidity to things, otherwise the camera is going to bounce around way too much. But the water's nice and clear right here. It's nice and clean. Beautiful. So I'm going to continue kind of following the shoreline, heading up over that way. Aurelia is up there. I don't know if I'll get as far as Aurelia today. That's a little ways up, but maybe. We'll see. We'll just keep kind of going that way and see how time does for us. What have we got here? Aha! Party balloons. Well, we'll pick those up and bring them off the lake. Happy birthday, is that what it says? Let's toast. Gonna have to pop those so I can stick them in the Seadoo and take them back and put them in the garbage. That's what happens, folks, when those balloons take off on you. They do wind up somewhere. Okay, time to test out a couple of new camera angles or camera products and just see how they work. This is something I bought over the winter. It's from Telesin, and what it is just a thing that you put around your neck, so you've got your camera mounted kind of about this height here, and then the camera just sits there, gives you that perspective. I've kind of bought it for the motorcycle because I don't have a camera mount on my helmet with the motorcycle. I don't really like all those chin mounts too much because they seem to protrude quite a bit. There may be no way around that other than this, whoops, turn off. Other than this thing here, it'll sort of give you the same angle, but the only thing that you won't kind of get is when you have the helmet mount on the camera, on the chin mount, when you turn your head this way or that way, the camera turns too. With this thing, it won't really do it. But let's put it on and see what kind of camera angle it actually gives us. Just set this down here for a sec. Oh, there we go. So this just unscrews. We'll put a camera in there. Screw the camera in. Why does that keep coming back on? It's reconnecting to the phone somehow. It's going to come back on again. Then this opens up, it pops open. You put it around your neck. And then pop it back in. Come on, like that. Then you can set the camera on the angle you want. Okay, let's just try that and see what we get with that camera angle. We'll just take a little cruise around, see what we're getting. I think I should tilt it down just a bit. Maybe like that. All right, let's try it out. So I did try it out, but I either didn't push the record button or I didn't push it properly to have it engage, and I still don't know what the perspective looks like from that angle. I think it'll be probably okay. I'll have to do it again, do it all over again another day. Record just didn't engage. So I don't imagine that camera angle is going to be much different than the one that is on the life jacket. There's another mount that's on this life jacket, and this life jacket is new to me as well. I was wearing this life jacket last August when I hit the rock. It was the very first time I had worn this life jacket. I think it's called the Explorer. It's got a couple of bells and whistles on it, that sort of stuff, but it's got a GPS mount on it as well. And I've never really had a chance to try it out, but I can't imagine it's going to be really any different angle than that, except a little more over to the side a bit. So that's pretty similar. So if I don't use this neck thing, which is pretty comfortable, it's easy to put on, easy to take off, and I can always use that. I guess it's pretty much the same kind of thing. Now, should try this out and see how this is going to work. I don't think it's going to be stable enough, but I do have another kind of bracket that's a little shorter, maybe a little sturdier than this that I could try out. So let me just swap that out. All right, I've mounted the GoPro up on this extension thing, but look how bouncy it is. I think once you get moving, that's just going to start bouncing. I don't have a line tied onto it in case it breaks off, but I don't think it will. But you see how it's just sort of wobbly like that? It's not really secure. Let's try it and see what we get. Got to remember that this is fairly calm water too, so it's not indicative of how it's going to be with a little bit of chop. Okay, let's try the Insta360 right up on this mount here. I'm a little nervous because I have nothing else connected onto that mount. If that were to break loose, that $1,000 camera there would be gone. Anyway, I'm not going to go too much of a speed. I'm just going to try it out. Please don't break off. Stay there. Let's just see how this works. You know, I've gotten turned around out here playing with these cameras so many times. I'm not exactly sure which way I'm heading anymore. I've turned around about 4 or 5 times now, and I think Aurelia's over that way, but I'm going to put the GPS back on, have a look, see where the heck I am. Okay, this is not 360 anymore, it's just a single lens. And I can switch the lens to the front lens or the back lens. But again, I'm just checking the audio to see how that sounds, whether I need a microphone connected to it, a Bluetooth mic, or whether this sound is acceptable to use. So I'm going to switch the camera from facing me to forward. There we go. Now we're looking forward. And let's bring it back, shoot back to me on the single lens. And back to me. This is probably as far as I'm going to go again, coming up into Aurelia. It's a pretty little ride up here, but one of these days I'm going to have to go further up, all the way up the river, and get up into the next lake and just see what that's all about, because I've never gone any further than really about this. So it was kind of a day today just to check out the systems on the Seadoo, make sure she's running good. I've only got a couple of hours on it now, maybe a couple of more by the time I get back. So it was kind of a bit of a break-in day and not a sea test, but a lake test, just to see how it was running, because it's the first time in the water, and also just to check out some of the camera settings and the camera systems. Fly the drone just quickly and briefly off the Seadoo. We're going to get a little better at all that stuff as the season goes on a bit and we get a little more used to it. We haven't done a lot of this stuff since last summer, and it takes a little bit to kind of get used to it again. So that's going to do it for this Yukon Bob video, the very first one out on the lakes. Thanks guys for coming along with me on this, and many more to come over the course of the summer. So stay safe on the water. Hope to see you guys on the water somewhere over the course of the summer. Till then, take care. Bye for now.